Isabella. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we are filming my very long awaited bookshelf tour. It has taken me well over a year of hauling and unhauling and reorganizing my bookshelves to finally get them in a place where I actually love them. I just finished reorganizing my bookshelves for probably the last time for at least a few months, and I just love them. I love everything about them. Ignore the loud birds, they're in every video. They're a part of the family now. I think we will start with, oh my goodness. Yes, I'm wearing an oversized shirt, ignore that. We're gonna start with this one, which is my favorites bookshelf. I'm excited. Okay, oh my goodness. Okay, firstly, this is Silky. I named Silky after the fairy in the Magic Faraway Tree collection, which is on this shelf. We'll get to that. There's not really any organization here. Like, there's no theme. They're just kind of thrown on the shelf wherever I see fit. Probably my favorite part of my entire bedroom. It is the top of my favorite shelf. So we have a picture book edition of Little Women and my favorite movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, Aphrodite, a really pretty candle. We have sunflowers and a little pyrite crystal. This is just me in a nutshell. Like, it explains everything you need to know about me as a person. Starting with my first shelf, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and The Midnight Library, which are like my favorite books ever. And then we have One Last Stop, which is on very thin ice whether I'm going to remove it from here or not. And then we have my favorite Colleen Hoover books, The Hunger Games, obviously, and then my poetry books. I haven't read these two or that one, but I put them here because it's very rare that I read a poetry book and don't absolutely love it. This middle shelf is probably my favorite. It has T.J. Hamilton, which is one of the first authors that I read, and two of these books are actually signed, so it's really cool. And then I have the Dreamland Billionaire series. We have Emily Henry. I have actually only read Beach Read, but I put Book Lovers and You and Me on Vacation on here because I knew I'd love them. We have the Falling in Love montage, House in Cerulean Sea, Captivate, which is so underrated. It is a series, but I've only read the first one. All the Bright Places, and then I have 3 books of Turtles All the Way Down. One of them's annotated, the other 2 aren't, but I do in fact need all 3. This bottom shelf is definitely the most miscellaneous. So we have Serafina, which was one of the first fantasy books I read and also one of my favorites. We have C.J. Tudor, my favorite psychological thriller author, House of Hollow, which I loved, Magic Faraway Tree collection. This is the book that I named my little teddy after. We have a wonderful nonfiction, highly recommend, We're Going to Need More Wine. We have 2 editions of The Hobbit, because I love it, and then like 3 different editions of Little Women, 4 if you include the picture book, my favorite classic by far. Moving on over here, we have my 2 other bookshelves. So up here is like another one of my favorite parts of my room. So we have this, which is like an Alice in Wonderland, I think. Like, I found it thrifting. I just thought it was super cool. Like, I love it. We have my box set. So we have Nevermore, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and A Curse So Dark and Lonely, plus my other Bridget Camera books. Forging Silver into Stars is my newest book I got, and I would love to put it on display. I just don't really know where I'm going to put it on display, so it's kind of there at the moment, but it may change. And then of course I have my little bell tiara, because who doesn't need a bell tiara? Moving down to this little like nook area, these are books that I'm thinking of unhauling but haven't yet because I'm on edge about. So we have The Blackstone Key and A Thousand Splendid Suns, which I've just had forever and I haven't gotten around to reading them yet. The Unhoneymooners, which I have read, and I did actually love it, but I just don't know if I'm ever going to reread it. What If It's Us, another book I've had forever and haven't read yet. I have The Girl on the Train, which again, I just don't know if it's worth it. Heartless, because the font is so small, it terrifies me. Girl on the Stairs, I haven't heard anything about. A Man Called Uwe, I know a lot of people love this book. I just don't know if I'd like the writing style. And then The Fault in Our Stars, which is a signed edition, but I just don't know. I don't know if that era is finished. So yeah, I would absolutely love to hear guys' opinions. If you've read any of these books, let me know if they're worth it or not. Obviously don't spoil anything, but I'd love to hear your opinions. Over here we have my camera, which I will eventually use. And then I have a bunch of like bookmarks and highlighting stuff and just other things for bookish, you know, things we find in books when we thrift or stuff like that. Moving down to this shelf, firstly we have this like cute little dolphin, which I've had probably since I was a kid. I love it. But we have my Alice Oseman books. I have only read Heartstopper and This Winter, but I plan on reading them in order, so I'm kind of just taking my time with it. We have Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I have not read yet, but I know I'll love it. And then behind that we have The Midnight Girls, and then You Should See Me in a Crown and Lovers for Losers. I have read these two and I did like them. I'm not sure if I'm ready to unhaul them or not because like they're very young, like they're YA, but they're very, very YA. So I don't think I'd enjoy it if I reread them, but they were like the first books I read. So, you know, they've got memories. Here we have like my Colleen Hoover books, a few of them, and then just some more like romance rom-coms. I've got The Kiss Quotient, which I absolutely loved, The X Talk I really liked, and If the Shoe Fits, which I haven't read yet, but I'm super excited because there's plus size rep in that. Moving down, these books are more like fantasy thriller. So we have My Little Dragons, Little Bubblehead, and then over here, this one, which reminds me a lot of The Hobbit. I don't know, I'm getting major Hobbit vibes. But we have The Lost Apothecary. This was actually on display for quite a while because look at this cover. Like, it is so beautiful, but I just decided to kind of put other books on display for a little bit for something different. But I'm still obsessed with that book, and it, well, not the book because I haven't read it, but the cover. We have The Sea Queen, which sounds super interesting. My brother got me that one. We have the Prison Healer series. I haven't got the third book yet because I haven't even read those ones. And then we have These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends. Too scared to read them. We have one of my favorite series, which is the Plated Prisoner series. It is so, so good. It's a dark romance fantasy. I highly, highly, highly recommend this series, especially if you liked ACOTAR or want like a slightly better written version of ACOTAR. I personally love the series, but I understand not everyone likes it. So if you kind of want a better version of it, this is really, really good. Like, I'm actually obsessed. Book that's been on my TBR possibly the longest, Legendborn. I'll get to it eventually. It just scares me a bit. Fable, I have read this. It was okay. Glow, which is a sci-fi. Trying to get into sci-fi, and I saw it thrifting. We have the You series. Haven't got the third book. We all know I need to get to that. It's taking me forever. The Guest List, The Last Word. And then we have the Folk of the Air trilogy. Haven't read it yet. I will probably get to it after I finish the Plated Prisoners and the ACOTAR series. I am super excited because I'm pretty certain I'm going to absolutely love it. And then at the back we just have like a book. It's Woman in the Window. It's just like a book filler, but yeah, I am super, super excited to read this series. Not sure how I feel about this shelf as a whole. Like, I don't know if I like the two front facings, but I just have that many books that it's like not really an option. Like, I have to do it. But yeah, I've definitely been getting into fantasy so much more, which I am just super excited about. Then we move down, and this is just a whole lot. So this is like my middle grade book. So middle grade, there is a few books like Apartment 255, The Selection, and Let It Snow that aren't middle grade. And I guess Percy Jackson middle grade or YA? I don't really know. But I just didn't have anywhere else to put those books, so they're just chilling there for the moment. Up closer we have like Roald Dahl and what else? What do we else do? Oh, we have, of course, Goosebumps. I used to have all of the Goosebumps books, but I gave them away. So I'm slowly collecting them again. And then we have like Bridge to Terabithia. It's mainly just like Roald Dahl and Goosebumps books, to be honest. We have The Keeper of the Lost Cities, which I'm actually so excited for. Like, once I finally get to these books, I will be so happy. Like, just look how cool they are. Like, are you kidding me? The synopsis sounds fantastic as well. We have a Aladdin retelling, I believe. The School for Good and Evil, which I am excited for, but it is like a pretty big series, so I'm hesitant to start it. Nightmares, I did read that and it was pretty good. And then The Book of Stolen Dreams, which needs to have its moment. Look. Oh my goodness. This is probably one of my prettiest books. It's just beautiful. And then we have possibly the most important book on my shelf, which is Isabella's Secret. This was my childhood book, so it just, yeah, it needs to be on full display. Behind that, we just have some like spiritual books. I do have some more on my shelf, which I will show you guys in a second, but yeah, they're just kind of thrown there. Astrology books. Just kind of on the floor, because like no more shelf space, is a bunch of literal children's books, because one, I work with children, but I also just have a soft spot for reading, like Tangled, all-time favorite. But I do have a soft spot for reading these books. Oh my goodness, you know what? Maybe I'm going to watch Tangled tonight. I think I should do that. I just love children's books. So yeah, but I do take these to my work occasionally, and they're just here when I don't take them. Alrighty guys, we are nearly there. We're nearly finished. We have another fantasy shelf with my beautiful sword. I don't know if I like it here, but that's just where it fits at the moment. And then we have our little guide dog Angel. Love her. We have The End of Men, absolutely, 14. And then this book, which is Creepers, I have read and it was just so good. I might do another video talking about it more in depth. I apologize if I'm shaking a lot. We also have these lights that just kind of dangle. So yeah, but we have my Cassandra Clare books. I did actually have all of the Mortal Instruments and got rid of them because I was like, the series is too long, I don't want to read it. But now I actually do want to read them, so we just have a few of her books for now until I can get all of her books, because none of these, like I want to read the Mortal Instruments before I read these, so it might be a hot minute before I actually get to these books. Although I did read the Red Scrolls of Magic already. Moving on, we have Mistborn. This is Mistborn, right? Yeah. Book 1 by Brandon Sanderson. Fifth Wave, which is one of my favorite movies. And then we have this really cool book, which is Braverly. Oh my goodness. Look at that cover. It's obviously a Brave retelling, but it's just stunning. I can't wait to read it. Then we have The Other Side of the Sky, which looks like a really cool fantasy book I plan on reading. And then I'm slowly collecting all of Robin Hobb's books. So we have a few books from her like different series. I'm collecting them from like thrift stores. And then on the end, we just have Lord of the Rings, because that's a classic. My brother keeps telling me I have to read that book, but I don't know. I will eventually. I'm interested in reading it, but it's just, I have so many other books I gotta read as well. Down we have another guide dog. This one's Gypsy. And then we have this really good smelling like maple waffle candle. It's amazing, guys. But we have all of my classics. So like a few Jane Austen, Emily, Bronte, The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, The Secret Garden, Handmaid's Tale, and then this, which is Looking for Alibrandi, which I read in school and I saw it when I was thrifting and I was like, oh my goodness, memories. So I bought it. Maybe I'll give it another read. I probably will, and we'll see if I liked it as much, because I did really like it when I read it in school. Moving along, we have my like historical fictions, most of them centering around Auschwitz, and then we have some non-fiction. So we've got a few about like serial killers, and then some like about like breakups, and this one's really good. I highly recommend this one. Really good if you need a good pick-me-up. We have a few like sadder books that I haven't really gotten to, and then we have my lovely and well-loved historical romance. So we have this, which is Kiss of Midnight, which is like a Cinderella retelling, and then we have Amanda Quick. I have only read this one, which is Dangerous. I've gotten all of these thrifting, by the way, but I absolutely love historical romance. I don't read it often, but when I do read it, I literally love it so much. So I may give another one of these books a read soon. And my final shelf, which is a hot mess. This is like my spiritual crystal shelf, like, because I was really spiritual and I'm trying to get back into that. So I have like my tarot cards and oracle cards, but I haven't really touched any of this stuff in a while, so I need to get back into the swing of things. But I just have a few like spiritual books, like about tarot, astrology, palmistry. We even have a I Am Loved journal, as well as law of attraction, just a bit of everything. Like I said, I used to be super spiritual and I will be getting back into like everything, but I just feel like I don't have time anymore, but we'll get there. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. It is like nighttime now. It's taking me forever to film this. I thought it'd be like, oh, I'll film it in 10 minutes. No, it took me like over an hour, but I hope you enjoyed. I do really love my shelves. I feel like they finally represent me as a reader, and I finally have books on my shelves that I either love or that I really want to read, not just books that I have to just like fill the space, you know. Also, don't forget to comment down below if you've read any of these books and if they're worth keeping, because I'm very, very open to opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.